Have you ever walked into a room full of people and felt invisible? Not because anyone was cruel or unkind, but simply because your voice seemed too small, your presence too quiet, your heart too hesitant to take up space. That was the silent weight Diya carried. She was thoughtful, gentle, and deeply observant. Yet, when surrounded by laughter, conversation, and easy connections, she often felt like a stranger looking in from the outside. She longed to join, to belong, to shine in her own way. But instead, words tangled in her throat, and her silence became her shadow. Her older brother Mark seemed to live in the opposite world. Confident, outgoing, unafraid to speak his mind, he filled every room he entered with certainty. People leaned toward him, listened to him, admired his presence. Diya admired him too, but that admiration carried a quiet ache. Why was it so easy for some people to connect, while others, like her, stayed hidden behind walls of awkwardness? It wasn't that Diya didn't care. She cared deeply, sometimes too deeply. She noticed the sadness behind someone's smile, the nervous tremor in their hands, the unspoken weight in their silence. She wanted to reach out, to comfort, to share. But the moment always slipped away, leaving her with regret. The world at times felt like it spoke in colors she could not see. At night, she would lie awake, replaying moments that could have been different. A missed chance to introduce herself. A gathering where she stayed quiet in the corner. A class project where her ideas never found their way into words. Her heart whispered a question she couldn't silence. Was she destined to remain invisible? And yet, life has a way of planting unexpected seeds. Sometimes a single discovery can turn years of silence into a story of transformation. For Diya, that discovery was waiting just around the corner, an invitation to see herself and the people around her in a way she never imagined, a way that would change everything. It happened on an afternoon that seemed ordinary, though in truth it carried the quiet weight of change. Diya had wandered into the community library, seeking her usual refuge among shelves and silence. The library had always been her safe place, a world where words spoke for her, where stories did not demand confidence, only attention. Yet that day, a small flyer pinned to the notice board caught her eye. Its title glowed with a curious promise. The color code of communication, discover how to truly connect. Something about those words stirred her. They carried a strange hope, as if they were written for people like her, those who longed to connect, but often failed. Almost without thinking, she found herself in the quiet hall later that evening, seated in the back row as a gentle voice began to speak. The speaker was a woman named Elena. Her presence was calm yet radiant, like sunlight filtering through trees. She spoke with warmth, not to impress, but to invite. Her words painted a world where people were not just strangers passing each other, but colors, each with their own way of seeing, feeling, and being. She described the Reds, strong-willed and decisive, natural leaders who carried a fire within them. She spoke of the Blues, tender and empathetic, whose hearts guided their choices. She painted the Yellows, bright and playful, who filled spaces with joy and possibility. And then, she honored the Whites, peaceful and steady, whose quiet presence brought balance to a noisy world. Diya listened as if Elena was revealing a hidden map of humanity. For the first time, her silence no longer felt like a flaw. It was a color, a presence, a gift. She was not broken. She was simply white, carrying peace where others carried fire, laughter, or depth. A slow warmth spread through her chest. If people were colors, then perhaps connection was not about being someone else, but about learning to see the colors in others. That night, as Diya walked home under the fading light, a new thought whispered within her. Maybe she could learn this language of colors. Maybe she, too, could belong. The days that followed carried a quiet shift in Diya's world. She began to see people differently, not as confusing mysteries but as vibrant shades of color moving through her life. Her teacher, firm and commanding, suddenly seemed so vividly red. Her words crisp, her expectations sharp, her energy fierce. A close friend she had long admired sparkled yellow, full of laughter and wild ideas, always chasing the next adventure. Even her brother Mark, bold and relentless, now shone with a mix of red and yellow, a flame that never dimmed.